Feather the Redeemed versus Azusa Lost But Seeking. Place your bets. Is this a typical Eldrazi deck? Just a land to start off with. Doesn't look as though we are going to be getting into much ramp in the beginning of this game. Azusa Lost But Seeking is a 3-mana mono green 1/2. You may play an additional 2 lands on each of your turns. Basically means they can ramp into whatever they want, and it's usually Eldrazi with Azusa. We'll hold up the Marsh Flats and probably go for a tapped shock land with that. Should have done that on turn 1 really. Feather the Redeemed is a 3-mana Boros commander, a Flying Angel 3/4. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell that targets a creature you control, you get it back to your hand at the beginning of the next end step. And the problem with Azusa is, even if you've got removal in your hand, the damage is already done once she comes down. Because, as you can see, they've gone up 2 lands there. We could Boros Charm. I think this is 4 damage. No, it's 4 damage to a player, not to a creature. I always make that mistake with Boros Charm. But we wouldn't have gone for that anyway, so it's not to worry. We'll go for the shock land in tapped, and then perhaps we should go for... Yeah, it doesn't really matter. We'd have to wait 2 turns to get Feather down if we want to hold up Otherworldly Journey. So we'll just get down Feather, and if they have a Lignify, then so be it. Up to 6 lands on turn 4. And there's even more lands. That's been kicked as well. Search your library for a basic land card and put it onto the battlefield. If it was kicked, then instead search for 2 and put them onto the battlefield. And then they could go in for Kodama's Reach from there. So they are up to 10 mana by the end of turn 4. Which is okay, I suppose. I'm just going to go for a Swiftfoot Boots here so that they can't target Feather. And then we can still go for Bandage to draw a card if we want to. So if they've got an Eldrazi in hand, the likelihood is that they can cast it right now. Okay, Regal Force will draw a couple of cards. 1 for each green creature our opponent controls. They only control 2. And there's even more ramp. If they only have ramp cards in hand, that's not the worst for us. Like I said before, the damage has already been done here, really, with regards to their ramp. Now, they're just in top deck mode. They don't even have a land to go for with Crucible of Worlds. They could sack the Inventor's Fair and then replay it again. Oh, actually, they need 3 or more artifacts. Yeah, they need Metalcraft to go for this, so they can't even do that. Yeah, our opponent's well and truly in top deck mode here. We'll grab the Bandage and draw a card with Feather. And obviously we get that back at the end of our turn, and then we can... Yeah, we've got a couple of card draw effects there. So let's grab ourselves a basic Mountain with the Bloodstained Mire. And then I think we can go in with Double Strike on Feather. And then a Bandage onto Feather as well. And then I want to hold up the... I don't think they're going to destroy our Feather. I don't see how they could actually, but I'm going to hold up the Boros Charm for indestructibility anyway. And then at the end of the turn we can go for the Crimson Wisps and the Bandage. Now we've got Indestructible already, so we'll get rid of the Ephemeral Shield. Boros Charm's a modal card, and we can give all of our permanents Indestructible with that. I think they just made another land drop, didn't they? So that means they ripped a land off the top. That's no problem for us. Now, would we rather go for Otherworldly Journey to put a plus counter on Feather? That's an extra 2 points of damage with Double Strike. I don't think it really matters. We're still going to have to hit our opponent through 2 combat steps anyway. So instead, we'll just go for Crimson Wisps. We'll go for the card draw instead. And that at least clears a Mountain off the top. And we've just cleared some lands off the top there, unfortunately. I think we definitely go in for Crimson Wisps again. Okay, Boros Charm. Maybe we should just get that down now. And then we can go... or Boros Signet we can get down now is what I was referring to. And then we can go for the actual Boros Charm. We'll put Double Strike on Feather. Now they have to draw into something next turn. But I don't really see what it could be because all we have to do is swing in next turn. They need to be able to remove Feather. And they can't do that because it has Hexproof. They can draw into removal for the Swiftfoot Boots, but then they won't have removal for the Feather. Maybe they can refill their hand. Okay, Crater Hoof Behemoth. Yeah, I don't think they can get enough damage through here, but even if they could, we could go for the Otherworldly Journey. Yeah, I don't think they've got enough damage here. That's 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Yeah, they've got no cards in hand. And we have the win next turn, so we'll just, for the fun of it, go for some card draw. And yeah, our opponent sees that we've got the win next turn. What were we drawing into? We had a Stand Firm, Smothering Tithe we didn't need, and another land. So luckily we got into Bandage and Crimson Wisps. Those card draws were really effective there in clearing lands off the top of our library. We could have exiled the Crater Hoof with the Otherworldly Journey. It would have re-entered, but the effect that it enters with wouldn't have been relevant there. So if we were worried about getting the whole 22 points of damage dealt, then we could have gotten around it with that. But all we had to do there was go for Boros Charm to give Double Strike again, and Feather would have gone through for lethal commander damage. So that was pretty good going for us. I don't know if this was a typical Eldrazi build, but luckily our opponent in Azusa managed to ramp out like crazy and only get into a few cards. They were relying on top decking there, which sometimes works and sometimes it doesn't. Green's got some good card draw, but obviously they couldn't get it going this time. So there we are. Feather the Redeemed versus Azusa, Lost But Seeking. Hope you all enjoyed it. I'm Tribalkai on the EDH channel. Thank you for watching.